Well, hello, everyone. I'm sitting here today with my new bestie, Abby Smith. Abby, what are you drinking?
I am drinking a caramel macchiato from Starbucks.
Oh, yum. I'm also drinking coffee, but this is just a basic black coffee from my Black & Decker coffee maker at home. Well, cheers, Abby. Thanks so much for meeting with me today. And I am so excited to have Abby on the podcast today because Abby is my first guest that is releasing their debut novel. And so this is really like a blank canvas for listeners because they haven't really read any of your work yet.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is also an opportunity to get some, maybe exclusives on Twin Flame.
Yeah.
So Abby's an indie author, also in college, majoring in English and education, and working on her debut novel, Twin Flame, that releases on April 5th. Twin Flame is a brother-best friend romance and enemies to lovers featuring Asher and Vivian. And it also seems like Abby isn't going to be making it easy for them to get together, which we love. So I've got lots of questions about all of this tension that you've been hyping up. So welcome. We're so excited to have you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're like under a month out. So what part of the process are you in? I think you sent out ARCs, right? Have you been getting?
Yes. Yeah. I've been getting a lot of feedback, which is good and kind of scary.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's very exciting right now.
Yeah. So you worked on your own to get ARC readers. Is that right? Did you just do like a calling on social media?
Yeah. I put out a post and I just asked people, if they wanted to read this story.
And so these are people who enjoy, because you have lots of different types of tropes in this book. And so these are people who just kind of are interested in a wide range of things. Or did you want specific ARC readers? Were there specific aspects of the book you wanted feedback on?
I think I was just going for like a broad romance kind of vibe for people to read it.
And was this the first time that anyone, like aside yourself, had read your book? Or did you have like friends read it first or family? Or do you have your own like author's best friend?
Yeah, my big sister, actually, she helped me through this process. And she was very hard on me so that I can make it better. So I'm very grateful for that.
Does she have like a literary background, or she was just like, is she like just an avid romance reader, or?
She has published like poems before. So she has a little bit of that literature. Yeah.
Oh, awesome. So a couple writers in the family. That's very cool. Yeah. Was it hard to share your work with someone and have them read it? I know it's family, but was it like this is the first time you're getting feedback on your writing? Were you nervous about what your sister was going to think?
I think so, because there's like spicy scenes in there, and I just feel like it's kind of weird, like telling her to read this specific part, and then she's like, "Oh, these are really like nice sex scenes." I'm like, "Oh, thanks."
Is she your older sister or younger sister?
Yeah, she's my older sister.
Does she read romance books?
She reads everything, to be honest.
That's so funny. Okay, so your sister had read it, and then you got feedback, and then you did ARCs. Nobody else had read it yet?
She was the first one to read like the first draft. And then after what she said, I went back and fixed it and made it better. And so now people have it.
Yeah, that's so exciting. How many have you gotten like lots of feedback from the ARC readers? Has anyone said anything to you that you thought was like surprising, or like, oh, I didn't think people would take that away from the book?
Yeah, I think I've gotten a lot of feedback on like how they talk to each other, like the dialogue, and people have really loved their like character development through the whole thing, which is really nice to hear.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you had posted about, you recommended that readers have like a squeeze ball, like a stress ball during the read. And then you also have It Ends With Us and Fourth Wing on a list of your favorite books. So I'm scared, but I'm very excited about the pain that you're planning on bringing us. Is that a sort of like an aspect of the book that was important to you, to have like a lot of tension or a lot of buildup or a lot of difficulty before the two get together?
I think for what I've read, the kind of books that I like, I really wanted to have that like up and down and a lot of tension, and like they can't be together and then they get together. It's like I really liked that type of story.
So were you trying to write a book that you would want to read, or did you have like a particular story that you wanted to tell, or like what are the inspiration for some of the plot points for Twin Flame come from?
I really wanted to tell a story of people who have, it's hard for them to like fall in love, and they really want to fall in love, but because of like their mental state, they can't, and it's hard, and they don't like want to accept that love. So I kind of wanted to write that.
Gotcha. It also seems like there might be a little bit of like circumstance. It's also kind of tricky because so Vivian lives with her brother and his 3 friends, right?
Yes, yeah.
And Asher is one of those friends.
Yes, yeah.
And that also just seems like kind of complicated, right?
Yeah.
Like I feel like part of the brother's best friend trope is that it's just like I don't want to mess up my brother's friendship.
Right, yeah.
So that seems like maybe they have their own like personal things or own like struggles to get through, but then also there's like this really tricky circumstance.
Yes, yeah.
So can we assume Vivian's like is she like a one of the boys kind of gal? Like is she pretty like I don't know, I could not survive living with 3 boys. So like what's her personality like?
Yeah, she doesn't really have any girlfriends. So yeah, she's definitely one of the guys and likes to hang out with guys.
Did you have an inspiration for her?
I think for the inspiration to have like a girl and like a bunch of guys living together is I watched New Girl and I was like, oh, this would be a cute idea, but make it, spicy.
Oh my gosh, wait, so do any of these guys resemble like Schmidt or Nick or Winston?
I think they all kind of have similarities to those characters for sure.
Wait, that's so fun. A spicy version of New Girl. So is she a little bit Jess Day? Like, is she a little eccentric and quirky? Or I don't know. I don't know why, but I feel like your images make me think that she's like kind of a hard ass. Like she's like kind of rough and tough.
Yeah, she definitely is more like tougher and blunt.
Mm-hmm.
So she's not really like Jessica Day, but the other characters bring that like funniness.
Gotcha. And then what about Asher? Like, who does he most resemble, or like what was his inspiration?
He's not really based on the characters in New Girl, but like Noah and Tyler are the other guys. I feel like they're closer to like Schmidt and yeah.
Do you? This is kind of jumping the gun a little bit, but do you have plans for them? Are the boys going to have their own books?
A lot of ARC readers want Tyler to have his own book, which is he's Asher's brother. So I'm debating if I should maybe do that, but I don't know yet.
Which one is Tyler? Is he more like a Schmidt character, or is he a Nick character?
He's more so Nick.
He's Nick. Okay. So is he like Asher's like grumpy brother? Is Asher more like upbeat?
No, I think it's the other way around.
Okay. So Tyler's like a happy version of Nick?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Wait, that's kind of like a dream come true. That's so cute. Well, yeah. I mean, I feel like there are a lot of really diehard New Girl fans, myself included, including like I was just talking with Katie Kaywood about how much she loves Nick Miller and how charming his grumpiness is. And so I could definitely see why ARC readers would be wanting to see more of him. Okay, so no current plans necessarily for a future book right now, just Asher and Vivian?
Yes, yeah. I am working on a new book, but not involving like twin flame characters.
Gotcha. Yeah. I was just talking with Sierra recently about like I feel like it's kind of becoming a thing when you write pretty good side characters. Like readers are really hoping to see more of those side characters.
Yeah.
And I feel like we should normalize like just little like maybe little novellas about them, or like maybe they don't need their entire own book, but maybe like just like a short little here's some fun bonus scenes about them to form out their relationship.
Yeah.
Because I feel like It's a lot of pressure for authors because you want to write good side characters because they
Mhm.
build up the main characters, but
Yeah.
then the pressure of like, okay, I wrote them so good that now people want them to have their own books, and like
Yeah.
that's not what I was envisioning. Was that hard to juggle? Like you have so it's 5 people. It's Vivian, her brother, and then his 3 roommates.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, was that hard to like give character development to 5 people? Because I imagine they're all kind of, around the house at the same time. And so you're having to write dialogue and dynamic between all of them.
Yeah, and they're all like so different from each other. It was definitely hard to write that. In like my pre-writing stage, I use like Google Slides to like organize my thoughts. So it was very difficult.
Yeah, that's so unique. I haven't heard that. So what does a Google slide look like in like planning out Twin Flame? What does that look like?
So it just goes through like the whole story, like where they live, like beginning, middle, end, like some plot twists or what's the climax. More slides are each character individually, like their dislikes, likes, like all about them.
Oh, that's super cool. So you have a slide per character, and it's kind of like a bio almost, like
Yeah.
things. Gotcha. And that helps maybe keep them consistent throughout the book.
Yes, yeah.
Where did you get the idea to use Google Slides?
I don't know. I kind of I wanted my thoughts more organized, because I'm a very organized and like precise person. So I thought it was just like the easiest kind of way. And also like using Pinterest too is very helpful.
Oh yeah, for sure. So how did you get into writing? It seems like maybe it runs a little bit in the family, with your sister writing poetry. But yeah, how did you decide to start on this journey?
So I've always loved writing and like creating my own stories. But in elementary school, I had this like creative writing teacher, and I just like fell in love with the idea of like creating lives that aren't mine.
Oh, cute. So what kind of like did you write creative stories like in elementary school?
Yeah. They were all in like this notebook. I think I still have it like today, but just of like all my old stories and my like awful handwriting and yeah.
Oh, how sweet. And so you sort of like carried that with you. Did you continue writing like throughout high school, or did you always plan to make this like a career path?
Yeah. Well, when I was younger, I actually wanted to be like a screenwriter, for like TV shows and stuff. And then I kind of just found my way into that I want to be like a teacher. So I've kind of just always liked writing, I think.
Awesome. And so you're majoring in education. And so is your plan still to be a credentialed teacher?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want to be an English teacher, so that's kind of what I'm going for right now.
Cute. What grade?
I think high school. That's the best.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then you can maybe sort of pass on what your grade school teacher gave to you, that inspiration to write creatively. So I had talked with Tessa Dorico, and she is also majoring in English, and she was talking a little bit about she is author of No Coincidence. She's also an indie author, and she had talked about how she would share some of her work like in her classes. Is that something that you do, or like do you bring up this in any of your writing classes?
I think I mentioned it, but not really like show anybody anything.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you keep all of your writing assignments like strictly related to things in the class?
Yeah.
Does anyone know that you write, or that you're hoping to self-publish a book soon?
Yeah. My whole class knows, and they're very, very supportive.
Oh, that's cool. So they're not like dying to read anything? They don't like pressure you into sharing your work with them?
They have, but I kind of I don't like to give too much away. So I kind of just like, well, you got to read it.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. And does it feel like hard to juggle like your college classes and working towards teaching and also doing writing?
Yeah. It's very hard to balance everything for sure. And also like being a mom. So it's very stressful sometimes.
Yeah, I can imagine. How old is your son?
He's 2. He's about to turn 3.
Oh, sweet little baby.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. My gosh, you have your hands full.
Yes.
What makes you want to teach high schoolers? I feel like that's like the hardest grade to teach.
I feel like when they write essays or something, I can understand it better than reading like a kindergarten's handwriting or something.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I feel like that's also like high school English is such an important time because I don't feel like at that age, like at 14, 15, you have an appreciation for the literature that you're reading. Like I actually just recently reordered a couple of books that I had read in high school, like Farewell to Arms and like The Alchemist, because I remember thinking like, this is kind of an interesting book, but I don't totally understand the bigger message, or like it doesn't have as strong of implications for me at this age. But thinking like, these are really important pieces of literature that I should sort of know a little bit, especially considering that I do like to read. And so having somebody that can like really try to convey the messaging to high schoolers, I feel like that's so important in trying to express like, this is you should enjoy reading this. Like, this is a very cool piece of history that you're reading right now.
Yeah.
Do you have like favorite like classic literature that you're like excited to teach, or books that you really enjoy?
One book that really kind of stuck with me is The Outsiders. I've always like loved that story.
Yeah, that's awesome. Do you have to do in like your education program, do you have to do any like teaching internships? Like, do you go into schools and do any sort of like?
Yeah, I'm not there yet in my like class right now, but I know that I have to do it soon.
Yeah, well, that'd be fun. Do they let you pick like what grade you want to teach?
Yeah, I think so. And there's like a couple schools around me that are like, you can go into this school and stuff. So yeah.
Oh, okay, that's cool. Very cool. Do you have any current authors or even like people in your life that inspire you or help inspire your stories or your writing? Any like really amazing professors or stories that you really, really admire?
Not really. But like authors that I admire though, probably like Colleen Hoover, Penelope Douglas, and Jamie McGuire are the ones that I really love.
For all the listeners that heard you say Colleen Hoover, everybody buckle up. Buckle up. Twin Flame will probably cause you lasting damage. But that's the best. The books that you can't stop thinking about because they broke you and put you back together again. That's sort of what I'm expecting to come in April. That's what I'm expecting. I should have Kleenex. Is that one of you? I should have a stress ball and Kleenex.
Yes, for sure.
Okay, I'll be prepared. And so I wanted to ask you a little bit more about your journey to authorship and like your decision not to work with like a large company, and it seems like you run like all your own social media. Were you sort of privy to using social media before? Had you sort of explored options of working with like an editor or publisher or social media manager or anything like that?
I do have a couple people helping me with my Instagram posts for like promotion and like helping with ideas and stuff. But for like publishing, I was reaching out to a couple of people like Simon and Schuster and like a couple others, but I kind of wanted to just do it my own and like publish myself. So I was just like, I'm just gonna do it myself.
Yeah. What did that process look like? Like how far along were you in Twin Flame when you started reaching out or looking at quotes or like entertaining the idea of working with a publisher?
Yeah. So I found a couple, and then they have you like send in your manuscript. And I was only like maybe halfway through, and I was like, maybe I don't want a publisher.
Is that so that you can have sort of final say over like what you did with your ending or your characters, or what led you to that? Like, maybe I'd rather do this by myself.
Yeah, I think I like having control over over things, and especially like this is my book, it's like my baby right now. So
Yeah.
I want everything to be kind of perfect and have it my own way.
Yeah. And has that been like fairly manageable? Like, I feel like there's just so many like little tips and tricks that indie authors are willing to like share with each other and help them like navigate. So has like that like Bookstagram community or other author friends been helpful, or have you just been trying to kind of like figure things out on your own?
No, a lot of like indie authors have reached out to me, either wanting to like be an art reader or just like helping with promotion. And I just love that like community of like everyone is like there for each other and like supporting each other, and it's like so beautiful.
Everyone is so sweet and wants everyone else to also succeed. And I don't remember who I was talking about this with, but I was like, authors are also readers. And so it doesn't do them any justice to keep all these trade secrets. Like if you can help people to make the publishing process easier, then you'll have more good romance books that you can read.
Yes, yeah.
And then you said you had maybe like a team or people that help a little bit with your social media or your content. Is that right?
Yeah.
And what did that look like working with them or setting up that relationship?
Since I'm very like close with my little team, we've just like been bouncing ideas off of each other, and it's kind of nice not having to be stressed about like another thing, like, oh, I have to post and I forgot. So it's very nice to have someone helping with that.
So they like help you think of like what content to post and have like a schedule for you to post, or what does that look like?
Yeah, so we kind of just think of some ideas of what to post and when to post, and then we create it. We use like Canva, which is really nice. So we just use that and then we post.
So how did you pull out like an aesthetic for the book? Like, did your Google Slides help you with that, or like how did you decide what type of like vibe to give the book?
I think to give the vibe, I kind of went off of like what the main characters are, and that kind of set up the vibe. I definitely like having, if you look at my Instagram, it's like all kind of orange and stuff. So I kind of liked having the same color and like consistency and organization there.
Yeah, I feel like one of the things I notice about one of the bigger differences about different authors is that like sometimes their Instagrams like change based off the vibe of the book they're writing. And sometimes they have like an author vibe, like just like my author color is green. And so my Instagram is green. And then irregardless, like I just make the content that I'm posting to fit into that theme, regardless sort of the vibe of the book versus like my aesthetic sort of changes with each book that comes out. Do you feel like your author vibe is like oranges and reds and yellows like a flame, or is that just sort of based off of Twin Flame?
I think it's just based off of Twin Flame. If I was gonna go with like an author vibe or color, it would probably be green.
Green?
Yeah.
Like a mint or like a hunter green?
Like a forest green.
Forest green. Gotcha. So how did you think of the cover for the book? It's very cool. How did you go about designing your cover?
I knew that I wanted flames for sure. But I was debating with my like cover designer. They were like putting people like the characters on the cover, and I was like, it just doesn't look right to me. So we just decided to like cut the characters out and just do like flames. Yeah.
And did the people that designed your cover also do your character art?
No, they didn't.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I feel like this might not be true at all, but I feel like the decision to put characters on your book or not feels like it sets the tone for like how like the seriousness almost like like Colleen Hoover never puts characters on her book, but there always some sort of imagery to represent like the pain or the struggle that's related to the book. And I feel like putting like cartoon characters on the book could potentially make it feel more like playful and cute than maybe you want it to. Is that when you saw the characters on the book, was it something like that where you were like, this doesn't convey like the intensity that I wanted?
Yes, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like when you get books that don't either that or like you want the character art to be like a treat that's separate from like being on the front of the book. But yeah, I feel like if when you're reading books or like Mia Sheridan writes more intense like love stories and she doesn't really have characters on the front. I feel like it's just like the imagery then conveys something maybe even just bigger than the love story, I guess, like the types of struggles that are just more so than just like these two people.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. And then the last thing I wanted to ask a little bit about was your writing process. So like you are juggling a lot of things. You're a superstar writing a book, publishing on your own, being a mom and being a student. How do you juggle like making time for writing? Do you feel like it's at the top of your priority list to do that? Do you feel like it's sort of the thing you do when you find a little bit of time? Has it been difficult to stay like with your release date? What does that look like?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, at first I didn't think, because I wanted April 5th because it's right before my birthday. So I just thought like double celebration. So at first I didn't think I was gonna make it. And then I kind of just had to speed everything up and try to get things done at a certain time. But for like priority, I think my family comes first. So in school. So writing is kind of like the last thing, sadly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I kind of just find time to do it and do
it. So were your deadlines like, I need to have this written because I already decided I'm going to do ARC readers, so I have to have it done by then? Or like, do you have like little internal deadlines that you set for yourself?
I pick a date first, which is kind of probably bad. And then I go like backwards and then decide like, okay, this is when I'm going to release the cover, like the blurb and like all of that.
I feel like you kind of have to do that. Like if you don't set a date, you could always just give yourself a reason to push it back. And I feel like you kind of like, especially when other people get involved, like if you're going to do a cover reveal and you don't really say anything about it, and then one day you're just like, boom, here's my cover. It'd be a lot easier to push that off. But as soon as you tell people like, hey, cover reveal is coming in 2 weeks, now you have like this community of people that are like, okay, see you in 2 weeks. Can't wait to see your cover. And then you're like, well, shoot. Okay, now I actually have to get this done because there are people that are waiting on me.
Yeah. I was actually late to post my cover reveal. Like I was late like a couple hours and like a bunch of people were messaging me like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. Let me just post it. So I was like, oh gosh.
Yeah, they'll keep you to your word. They're like, I set a timer. I've been waiting for this cover. Where is it?
Yeah.
That's so funny. That's awesome. So you're pretty much smooth sailing then, right? So like ARC readers have your book, so you're pretty much done with the writing process. And are you just kind of, do you have any other big things that you need to do or any things before the release date?
I think once I get like all of the feedback from ARC readers, I might, if there's anything like truly wrong with the story, I might go back and try to fix it. Other than that, I haven't really been getting like bad. So I think I'm kind of just waiting for April 5th.
Yeah. And then is it like formatted and everything? You've got it ready to go out. Like, is it going out on Kindle Unlimited?
I want to have it go out there, but I think I'm setting up my like own website so that people can order like directly from me and like get a signed copy if they want. So I'm going to try to do that and hopefully that works.
Yeah. Awesome. So is your website up right now, or that's what you're creating it?
I am creating it right now. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So Twin Flame is coming out in a few short weeks, April 5th. And we can get a copy on your website. There'll be signed copies there too.
Yeah.
And maybe you'll post the website link when that's out. And then where can people find updates about you? Like what social media are you on? What's your handle?
I am on Instagram. It's Abby Smith Author. And that's all I have.
And are you going to make an announcement about the website where they can buy copies of Twin Flame? Yeah,
when the website is up and running, I will probably make an Instagram post or story. So yeah.
Exciting. Making a website is a lot of fun, but I know that it's also a lot of hard work. Can we expect to see lots of forest greens on the website?
I think it's more of like a grayish color, so maybe I should change it up a little bit.
Gray's good though, because that gives you like a once you have other books on there, it's kind of like a nice base. And then depending on the vibe of the book, it'll fit right in with the gray.
Yeah.
And I know that you had mentioned that that there aren't plans yet for the other roommates to have their own books, but you are working on something else on the back burner. Do you have any teasers for us? Any tropes? Any progress updates?
I'm in the pre-writing stage right now, but
so there's a Google slide. Is that
yes,
are we that far yet?
Google
Okay.
But I do have a lot of tropes. There is grumpy sunshine, one bed, snowed in, the bet, opposites attract, slow burn, and I think that's all I'm going to give away right now.
Oh my gosh, you're killing me. Those are my favorite tropes. A grumpy sunshine, one bed, the bet. I'm obsessed already. How exciting. And these are characters we won't meet in Twin Flame, is that right?
No, yeah. We will not be meeting them.
Okay. Awesome. That's so exciting. Well, thank you so much, Abby, for talking with me today and sharing some behind the scenes on writing Twin Flame and getting that out and future projects. And honestly, can't wait for April 5th. I wish you the best of luck in these probably very anxiety-provoking next couple of weeks before your release.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we'll see you next time.